Hey everybody, it's your girl Bondy Blue, and I want you to check out Bondy's Boutique and get some of my merch, y'all. I've added some new things like my mermaid cups and the mermaid tees, and also the Shake Them Tits mugs. All right, you asked for it and you got it. Check out Bondy's merch at Bondy's Boutique. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue, and I am back for another The Bondy Blue Show, you guys. I gotta hurry up and get through this one, but I want to say that I didn't even know if I wanted to talk about leaving Neverland because there was such an overwhelming amount of people that felt one way. And I felt like, do I really feel like going through this with people? But at the end of the day, I'm somebody that always thinks for herself regardless to what anybody may think. I think for myself, I assess situations for myself, and I try to be as, clear-headed about situations as I possibly can be. And I feel like if you didn't watch Leaving Neverland, I'm gonna need for you not to have such a strong opinion, because until you watch it, because I felt the same way. I'm like, all right, what bullshit they about to tell me, but when you put everything together, it just, I'm sorry y'all, it don't look good. It don't look good at all. And I will say this, that I feel as if this was anybody but Michael Jackson, everybody would feel like this person was a pedophile. But because this person is Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson is this mega superstar, because now he's deceased and everybody feels like, oh, he's dead, what's the point of this? And sometimes the point is just to get the truth out there, to get it off of your chest, to say how you feel about a situation. And when you've had a long-term, type of relationship with somebody who has sexually molested you, sometimes it takes them dying for you to be able to feel like I can finally say what the fuck I want to say without fear, without feeling like I am disappointing them. And I know that they kept using Wade Robinson. Every time you turn around, there's a post, oh, Wade Robinson just mad because he couldn't get a job, and he was working for him, and he was doing all this with him. And I just want to say, Wade Robinson could have worked for Michael Jackson. He could have continued to be his friend. He could have continued to take money from him. All of this shit. And the abuse could have still happened. Because y'all see, and I'm drawing a correlation between that and what happened with R.Kelly, because R.Kelly paid that girl's parents off. They took money, even though there's physical proof that their daughter was having sex and having a sexual relationship with R.Kelly. They still cared more about that money. They still cared more about continuing a relationship with R.Kelly the superstar than they did about the well-being of their daughter. And from we understand, allegedly, she's still in his life, and is the girl who trains all of the new girls that come into the harem, okay? Now, we're going to get to R. in a minute, but I just want to draw the correlation because people would say, oh, Wade Robinson was still taking money. He was still trying to work with him, and da-da-da-da-da. And I personally feel like, nigga, if you raped me when I was 7 years old and had me thinking that it was okay, and had me feeling like, oh, I better not say nothing, or I'm going to go to jail and you going to go to jail, you can at least give me a fucking job and some money. Like, you could at least do that. But you know what, y'all? Let's take it. I'm not about to go through every little thing that happened on Leaving Neverland, because I feel like if you want to know everything that happened, you need to go watch it. Okay? But what I will say is, a lot of people had stuff to say about Wade Robinson, but they didn't have anything to say about James Safechuck. James Safechuck, both of them came into his life from contests, from working on acting projects. Like, James was in a Pepsi commercial, and that's how they met. And Wade, did a whole bunch of dancing and, doing the dances like Michael Jackson all over Australia, and then won. And that's why he came into contact with Michael Jackson. But in all of these situations, you guys, I feel as if Michael Jackson was grooming them. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, but if you paid attention, and let's take them out of the equation. In this documentary, because I didn't even watch the second part, but I watched the full first part, and then I watched Oprah's interview with them after, and I just couldn't keep watching it because of some of the things that they said Michael Jackson would ask them to do, like bend over and spread their butt cheeks while he masturbated. So it wasn't always like penetration. Sometimes it was masturbation in front of them, or touching on them, or oral on them, or getting them to do oral on him, allegedly. Allegedly. Y'all, I don't claim to know what happened. I'm just telling y'all based off of the shit that they showed us, pictures, they showed us, you know, you heard voicemails and interviews that James did with Michael Jackson, and the way Michael Jackson obsesses over these kids for that moment in time. Y'all, nothing about that screams, I'm just trying to take care of kids because I didn't have a childhood. Like, I know that's what everybody, oh, he's so innocent and he didn't have a childhood. He was still a grown-ass man that grew up in the entertainment industry. And if anybody knows anything about people that grow up in the entertainment industry, they grow up quickly. So to use that excuse of he wants to be around children all the time just because, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense to me. There are a whole bunch of people that didn't have childhoods and didn't go around, you know, creating such a obsession with different children at different times over the course of years. And then when one got older enough, they were no longer the best friend, and then a new one moved in. To see that as well, to see him going around with kid after kid, and I also don't believe that he molested them all. I believe that, like most predators, you pick the ones who are, first of all, not American, Australian, okay? So there's not going to be as much of an uproar. There's not going to be as much of an investigation about those kids. Yes, I know that they went through a 10-year investigation and they came in his house and looked all over his house and everything, but he wasn't like R.Kelly. He wasn't taping shit. So how would you ever gain evidence of something that's going on behind closed doors with nobody in the room but him and that child? That's all I'm saying, y'all. Like, none of the things that people are saying as a reason to why Michael is supposedly innocent proves anything. Like, just like the things that Wade and James said doesn't necessarily prove anything, nothing that Michael, you know, that y'all could say in defense of Michael proves that he didn't do anything. What I know for a fact is that he sent facts after facts after facts after facts after fucking facts, okay, to these kids. Bought the mama and them a fax machine so he can send all of these messages to them. Oh, I love you, little one, and, you know, make me happy, and follow your dreams, and just all of these little messages over and over and over and over and over again. And then going to sleep at the parents' house and spending the night over there, having long 8 to 7-8 hour conversations on the phone with a 13-year-old boy, with a 7-year-old boy. Like, y'all, none of that shit is normal. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Michael Jackson was 30-something years old at the time. None of that seems okay to me. And it seems as if in most situations, like the parents and everybody involved, everybody is glamored. Everybody is, oh my God, it's Michael Jackson. He wants to be around us. He wants to come to our house. He wants to eat our food. Oh my God, oh my God. Just like most people would feel when they get attention from somebody who is at that height, that level of stardom. There was nobody of equality. There was nobody that was equal to Michael Jackson at that point. Okay, all over the world that way. That does not negate that Michael Jackson did good to people. That does not negate all of the wonderful things he did, the messages in his music. It doesn't negate any of that, okay? So you can be this person that goes out and gives money to orphanages and saves people. You could be that person. But then you can also be somebody that was molested as a child because they were forced into a business where they had to really fend for themselves in a way. Like, I think their daddy only did as much as he possibly could. Let's not forget that LaToya Jackson came out years ago and said that he had did the shit. Okay, herself said multiple times on different networks that he had did the shit, which is why they exorcised her from the family. But y'all, Michael admitted himself to sleeping in the bed with these kids. What grown-ass man does that, y'all? What grown-ass man does that? Please tell me. And I told y'all before, I'm not stopped listening to no music that I like to listen to. I don't give a fuck what the person did. If I like your music, I'm still gonna listen to your music. So ain't nobody saying stop listening to Michael. I'm saying stop saying for a fact that he was innocent when you wasn't in the room. I'm saying stop ignoring things that if it was anybody else with this same situation, you would think that that person was guilty. But because he's Michael Jackson, everybody wants to be like, oh no, he didn't do it. Michael Jackson was a fucking weirdo. He was a weirdo, y'all. Stop with the bullshit. I was alive during these years. And the bleaching and the white lady wigs and the nose jobs and all. You notice that there wasn't a lot of black kids around. Like Like, there were just so many things about Michael Jackson that gave me pause coming up. He was a great artist. He seemed to be a great person. He did seem to have been taken advantage of on more than one occasion. But when you look at his relationships with these kids, taking them on trips, staying in hotel rooms with them, and yes, he had this large suites, but those kids didn't stay in the rooms with their parents. And then James Safechuck mom said that when they were on tour with him, every time they went to a different place, the parents' room got further and further and further away from Michael's room, where the child was sleeping. James Safechuck said that they had a mock marriage, that they was, you know, in a relationship in his mind. He gave him jewelry and rings. He showed all of the jewelry on the documentary, y'all. And yes, Michael could have just bought them kids. He could have just did all of this with them and got in the room and did absolutely nothing. You are absolutely right. He could still have never actually touched them. But the way he interacted with them, the obsession with one child for a certain amount of time and then move on to the next child, like, I'm sorry, y'all, that looks fucked up and wrong to me. That looks wrong to me. I'm gonna ask everybody a question. If you got a kid, would you have allowed your kid to go and stay in a room with Michael Jackson? Be real. Be real with yourself. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I always had my doubts, but I never really delved deeply into the situation. But when you look at it from the standpoint of these two people, whether you want to believe Wade or not, let me tell you something. James Safechuck is wearing that abuse on him like a fucking winter coat. Okay? He looks tired. He looks wore the fuck out. And when it comes to when they lied on the stand or when they said that he didn't touch them on the stand, I just want to say, do you know how many people say that things didn't happen to them when they really did? How many women go to the police station with a bust lip and a black eye and say, oh no, he didn't do nothing to me. He didn't touch me. He didn't do nothing to me. I mean, the same thing with R.Kelly situation. Anybody that's a predator that preys on somebody, they put it in your mind that you were equally complicit in whatever is going on, even if you are a child. So yes, you feel the guilt of everything that happened. James Safechuck said to Oprah that this weekend when he knew it was coming out, he felt like he had disappointed Michael. He's still going through it, and you can see it on him, y'all. Like, I'm not bullshitting with y'all. I was watching this dude in the interviews. I was watching him, you know, on the documentary. James made me feel some type of way. He made me feel like something happened to him because he's not past it. And from what I understand from both of them, the thing that triggered them to bring this shit back up again after all these years was they both had kids. They both had kids and kind of had some type of like PTSD from realizing how innocent children are. And I think for a lot of people, you don't realize how innocent children are until you have one yourself. And then the gravity of the situation becomes real. I'll give you an example. On Marriage Boot Camp, a couple of episodes ago, Tammy said, I had a relationship with a man and he was too old for me, or it was something like that. And it was some type, you know, some type of sex. She was sexually abused in one way or another. And she said, I didn't even realize that that's what it was until I had a child of my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like everybody talking about, oh, they said that he didn't do anything, y'all. That happens all the time. That happens all the time, and it would especially happen if you gotta sit in a courtroom across from Michael Jackson, who on one part you know did something wrong to you, but on the other part you love him and you care about him, and he's Michael fucking Jackson, and you know that people are gonna look at you a certain way. James Safechuck said that when he was 20-something years old and they brought it back up, he didn't want to deal with that shit. He said no, it didn't happen because he did not want to deal with it. He was trying to get his life together, and for as long as he can remember, it was told to him that his life would be ruined if he actually went ahead and said something to somebody. Y'all, I'm just telling y'all the way I made sense of what I watched. I'm not saying I know for a fact what Michael Jackson did because I wasn't in the room. But I am saying that something was not right about the way he corresponded and had relationships with these young boys. Whether y'all want to take that or not, that's fine with me. Because like I said, I still got to say how I feel and what I got from it and how I feel when I think about how it was always another kid. And I just don't think that he would have done it to Macaulay Culkin. I don't think he would have done it to Corey Feldman. I don't think he would have done it to the kids who were famous, to the kids who were here in America and could have screamed to somebody that would have listened. I don't think he could have done it to every kid that he came into contact with. I think it's a specific type of situation where you feel like I've groomed them and I can get away with that. I really do, y'all. I really, really do. That doesn't change the fact that I love Michael Jackson's music, his contribution to music and all of that shit. That does not change that for me. I am very much able to separate, and I always have been. Some people aren't, that's your prerogative, but we're not about to go back and forth on here about it. Like, I'm just letting y'all know right now. I watched the documentary, I've looked at the case files and all of that. Yeah, nothing was ever found. What's to be found? If I'm having sex with a little boy in a room with me at night with the door closed and nobody else in the room, what evidence are you going to find? Do you know how much rape cases or he said, she said, or he said, or whatever? Like, it can't always be proved. Like, nobody's out here raping people when motherfuckers are around. So I feel like even that 10-year investigation, unless he was somebody that was watching child pornography, which I don't think he was, they actually said that he showed them regular pornography. A lot of regular pornography. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with that. But that does not mean that he wasn't turned on and then tell the little boys to bend over and spray their cheeks and shit. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. That made me want to laugh because I thought about Dave Chappelle's skit about that. Spread over and lift your sack. But that was a totally different situation. Okay? Now, when it comes to y'all getting mad at Oprah, I feel like, you know, Oprah is a journalist, and if Oprah felt strongly about how she felt about the story, and I feel like a lot of us have gone back and forth with how we feel about the situation. I don't give a fuck whether Oprah did an interview with him back in the day and praised him. You can have an opinion one day and change that fucking opinion after you've seen and talked to people and the situation has, you know, been left alone for a while, and then the researchers and years have gone by. You can have a difference in opinion. Just like them fucking people with R.Kelly. I mean, just keep using R.Kelly and drawing correlation between the two because they have evidence of him. So everybody knows that he's guilty. But with Michael, there was no evidence. So everybody likes to use that as a way to say that it wasn't true. When they have so many things that line up with what a grooming pedophile would do to a child and the way they would pick them out. Okay? So if y'all want to see, you know, the documentary, I suggest y'all go on HBO, you know, go on the app, go on, you know, if you got cable, go online and see if you can watch it. Because I feel like you don't know what the fuck you talking about if you have not seen that documentary. Like, there were some people who was like, you know, obviously they lying. And it's like, no, it's not obvious, baby. It's not obvious. If you see all of the faxes and all of the pictures and you hear the voicemails and it just feels wrong, y'all. It feels wrong. And if you watch that fucking James Safechuck really is visceral with him. It's still very much everywhere on him. I don't care what, no, he looked tired. He looked wore the fuck out by it all. Wade might have a different persona, but James don't have all that. So I want y'all to watch it and form your own opinion, but stop saying that he innocent just because you love Michael Jackson and they said that he didn't do it the first time. People do that all the time, y'all. Okay? Now let's go ahead and move on because I've been talking about that enough. We all know that Monique decided to voice her opinion and say that, oh, he's not alive to defend himself. Oprah did, you know, just how she did me. Yes, Oprah will go around you motherfuckers and be a real journalist and don't give a fuck about relationships and get the interview any way she wants to. That may not always be the right thing to do things, but at the end of the day, you don't become Oprah Winfrey from doing shit the right way all the time. That's just, I don't think so at all. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. And for everybody saying, oh, she ain't for black people, I think that's bullshit too. I think that Oprah has had to kiss a lot of ass and shake a lot of hands of white women in order to be able to offer you own network, which is primarily black entertainment by black people. To open schools in Africa for black children, to give, so you know what I'm saying, like you don't, you know what I'm saying, that's the same thing. Like, you don't all of a sudden try to discredit everything somebody has done over the span of their 40 to 50, you know, year life just because you don't like the fact that they decided to do an interview because Michael Jackson is dead. What's gonna be Michael Jackson's defense, y'all? Like, everybody keeps talking, he's not here to defend himself. All he gonna say is, I ain't do it. All he gonna say is I ain't do it. Like they ain't pretty, they ain't no more, like ain't nothing that's gonna be expanding the imagination. All he gonna say is I didn't do it, just like he did the first time. All he gonna say is that they want money just like he did the first time. And yes, there are people who I believe was out there to get money from him and played on what happened. But if he wasn't sleeping in the bed with children, if he didn't have these close best friend relationships with young white boys, then maybe it wouldn't have been like that. You leave yourself open for this when you have inappropriate relationships with children. So Michael Jackson's ass, dead or alive, needed to take some responsibility. And y'all, let me tell you something. I do believe deep down that Michael Jackson was a child and probably had a very hard time fighting whatever it was he was going on with, you know, inside him. Because the way his life was into y'all propofol, nigga on profile, people don't be on that. People don't be on shit that put you under like that. Nigga has shit going on, y'all. And it could have been guilt from all of the things he's done. And that's why he could have done all of the great things he's done. Because you always trying to combat the fucked up things you've done. You know, trying to make it right. But yeah, y'all, that's my feelings on the situation. I think that everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm entitled to mine. And if you disrespect me in these motherfucking comments, I'm gonna block you. Period. Okay? Now let's go ahead and talk about Kel's right quick, right fast. Alright? Y'all, R.Kelly lost his fucking mind in this interview with Gayle King. Okay? Now, it's been, I told y'all, ever since that lawyer, what his name, David Avatar, whatever the fuck his name is, I forgot what the man's name is, but ever since that interview came out, you know, since he came out with the press conference and let everybody know that he was going full head, you know, full steam ahead with charges against R. Kelly, and R. Kelly got arrested, I knew that something was gonna happen eventually. I just didn't think he was gonna sit down with anybody because he hardly ever does interviews about these things. But he was screaming and fucking hollering, y'all doing this to me. I give y'all 30 years of my fucking life. And y'all gonna do this to me. I'm not trying to do this. Ain't about no music. It's about my kids. A relationship with my kids. Like, nigga, nah. This ain't what we gonna do. This ain't what we gonna do. Okay? Michael Jackson. Robert. Okay, I'm gonna tell you like Gayle said, Gayle was calm as fuck. That nigga was jumping. I don't think he was ever gonna do anything to Gayle. I just think that this is what happens when somebody realizes that they not getting away with the shit that they've been getting away with. Okay? I read today that his ex-lawyer, the one that got him off in 2008, said that he made R. Kelly go and get shots to get rid of his libido, which is why he hadn't gotten in trouble in so many years. And he doesn't think he's done anything since. But I don't think he's done anything since either. I think all his relationships with these young women has been probably of legal age on up. All of the tapes that we are talking about are still from 1998 and 2000. So everything still predates the 2008 trial. R. Kelly is losing his shit because he has realized that now the chickens are coming home to roost. You can't make the same amount of money you once made, so you can't pay for the bail. So the chick who owns the daycare center, ironically, has to get you off, all for you to get put back in jail because you don't have the $190,000 that you owe Andrea Kelly in back child support, nigga. And to me, it seems as if you wasn't doing the right thing when you had a chance. And now you up here screaming and hollering and crying and got your two, you know, brainwashed birds sitting up there talking about how their parents forced them into your hand and they're extorting you for money. And he was sitting there. Them two girls did the interview and he's sitting in the back coughing and shit. R. Kelly is very much controlling Azriel and Joycelyn. Okay, Joycelyn seems to have a bit more control than Azriel did. Azriel was kind of disrespectful to Gayle, if you ask me. Gayle was just asking cut and dry questions. So did you have a sexual relationship with him when you were underage? Blah, 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 blah. Of course she says no. And I would never discuss my sexual relationship with you. Would you, Joyce? Would you, Joyce? Like, bitch, don't Whitney Houston. I'm sorry. Would you, Gayle? Would you, Gayle? Don't Whitney Houston Gayle, okay? Like, don't do it, bitch. This ain't Barbara Walters. Don't do it. At the end of the day, y'all sat down voluntarily, okay, or involuntarily per this nigga, so that y'all could talk about the situation. Don't sit up there and now act like you're not supposed to be asked personal questions. That's exactly what the fuck this is, bitch. That's what the fuck this is, okay? Y'all, them girls don't want to go home. They don't want to go home. I don't care what nobody say. If them girls wanted to go home, they could have slipped a note to Gayle King if they wanted to go home. If it was that deep. I think they are brainwashed enough to the fact that they just gonna have to wait till their asses is old and shriveled up to realize they done wasted all their good years on R. Kelly. Okay? And I saw this video online of Azriel singing. Beautiful voice. Beautiful voice, okay? But she says that her parents wanted her to sing. She didn't want to sing. Everything is, it's all my parents' fault. But that's what predators do. They separate you from your parents. They separate you from the people who love you so you feel like all you have is them. R. Kelly is textbook like a motherfucker, okay? But he doesn't take any responsibility. He keeps making generalizations about, oh, they just mad at me because of things that happen in our relationship, and they just trying to mess over me because of this and because of that. Never taking responsibility in this interview. Constantly being crazy. I believe that they're showing the whole interview tonight, and if there's something else to talk about, I'll come back to y'all tomorrow and we can talk about the rest of it. But from what I saw, I think we need to, you know, stop saying them bitches is being held against their will, because I don't think they are. I don't think anybody was ever really being held against their will, because every time somebody was ready to go, they packed their little duffel bag up and they left. All right? And I also would like to say what I've always said, which is that Hugh Hefner and R. Kelly are damn near one and the same. And if you think that Hugh Hefner wasn't having sex with underage girls, you are sadly motherfucking mistaken. Brooke Shields was like 13 years old posing nude on Playboy. Okay? So you can't tell me that people wasn't sexualizing children over there at the Playboy Mansion, okay? I feel like this is something that has always been going on, and I do feel like people are giving R. Kelly a little bit more shine with it than they do other people. But at the end of the day, that don't change nothing, my nigga. You still wrong. And you're going down. Kel's going down. Kel's going down. Kel's going down, down, down. Okay? Now, I told y'all he back in jail after this interview. And I can't wait to see the rest of the interview, y'all. But I think the parents, I want to speak on the parents for a second, and I do believe those parents knew full well what the allegations against R. Kelly were. I don't give a fuck whether somebody was acquitted. It is obvious that people who are guilty can still get off in court. So I wish people would stop using that as a way to say, oh, I don't have any responsibility to protect my daughter because the court said he didn't do it. That's not what the fuck they said, okay? He was tampering with the witnesses, paying people off, and doing all kind of shit to make sure that he didn't go to jail. And instead of doing your due diligence and just saying, let me keep my child away from him anyway, y'all brought y'all teenage daughters to R. Kelly concerts, pushing them on the stage with him. So I believe very much that there's some truth to the things that Azriel and Joycelyn was saying about their parents having a part in how they got in R. Kelly's hands in the first damn place, okay? A lot of these people were ignoring everything that was going on because they were so enamored with R. Kelly. And it's just, I'm telling y'all, when these celebrities do things like this, people don't want to see it. Because like Oprah said on that on a little documentary interview thing, she said, how can you see the truth when you're staring into the sun? Okay, it was somebody else's quote, but that's some real shit. When somebody illuminates the way R. Kelly did, the way Michael Jackson did, you don't want to see the truth about them because you're too busy being all in love with what they've given you musically or what they've shown to you as far as, you know, the television and you know, and internet and all of that shit, tabloids and all of that. All you're seeing is what they've shown you, but you don't know the person personally, so you can never really know what anybody is capable of. But I think it's hilarious how even though the stories are so parallel, everybody wants to pick out the few little things that they don't have in common. One's not dead, one didn't have video evidence, and then just ignore all of the other things that culminates or creates the basis of the whole thing, which is them niggas ain't right. Sorry, that's how I feel about it. All right, y'all, next. Wendy Williams is back, all right? The bitch is back, okay? Look. Wendy Williams came back on her show at the beginning of this week, bitch, and she ain't give y'all no tea, no information on what's been going on with her personally. Didn't speak on any of the abuse allegations that they say Kevin Hunter has put her through. None of the cheatations that Kevin Hunter has supposedly put her through. All she said to everybody was, she is Wendy Hunter. And unless y'all see that ring going off her finger, don't ask her about her marriage. And look, I'm a firm believer in this is a job. You know what I'm saying? So on one hand, I feel like can't nobody tell Wendy don't talk about celebrity gossip and shit, because that's what she do, okay? But at the same time, I also feel like, bitch, if you're gonna talk about other people's relationships and what they doing, why you can't at least speak somewhat on what people have said about you? But that's all right though. You can leave that for us, because we'll talk about it, bitch. Whether you want to give the okay, whether you want to say it happened or not, I don't believe it's all Graves' disease. I have heard from several sources, including Charlamagne, that Kevin is a terrible person. I believe that. I do. I believe that Kevin is probably not the best person in the world. But you know what? That's who Wendy has decided to work with, to marry, to be with, to deal with, to have a child with. But it'll all come out in the wash eventually. I'm just happy that she's back in her purple chair. I'm glad that she's back. Some people are speculating that she might be on her way out, regardless of the fact that she's come back. I don't know how I feel about that. I hope not, because I still like Wendy's show. I like the format of her show, and I would one day like to knock her ass out that purple chair. So until until I can get there, bitch, stay where you at. Okay, look, I love Wendy, y'all. Like, at the end of the day, like, I love her show, the format, what she's done for entertainment, gossip, and all of that. She's one of the pioneers in making this shit something to do. Okay, so I ain't never really gonna be mad at her that much, but I wish that she would be real about her own situation, the way she go in on other people. That's my only thing, bitch. You could at least give us some of the tea, bitch. You can give us lukewarm tea, but bitch, you ain't giving us nothing. You giving us water. Ain't running nothing. But anyway, y'all, I'm glad she back. Let's move on. Apparently, they just released it this evening that Jussie Smollett has been indicted by a grand jury on 16 felony counts for, you know, lying and saying that he was the victim of a hate crime, but he really wasn't. And obviously, they're either going to go to trial with this, or he's going to take a plea deal. I don't know. But whatever he does next will be telling of what the real truth is behind everything. And this is another thing that makes me feel like he wasn't telling the truth and he was lying about whatever happened, and maybe he did set it up, because the grand jury had to look at all the facts, even the facts that we as the public have not seen, in order for them to come to the conclusion that they wanted to indict him. You know what I'm saying? So it further makes me believe that Jussie out here tripping out over Miley and making terrible fucking decisions. But we'll keep our eye on this situation. I hope he don't spend no time in jail. That's not what I want for him. He was wrong and everything, but let the nigga pay a little money and be on probation and send him on his way. Speaking of other people in trouble, let's talk about Peter Thomas being arrested last week. He's been in jail. He was in jail. He got out, but he was in jail for 6 days. And they say they kept him in solitary because he, is somewhat famous. And for 23 hours a day, he was in a cell by himself for 6 days. And I said, people think it's a game. That's why whenever people, want to hurry up and put somebody in jail, or say people deserve to be in jail, I wish they would jump off a fucking bridge. Because you have no idea what that mentally, emotionally does to people over extended periods of time, being locked in a small space for a long period of time. You have no idea what that's like, yet you so willing to throw that on other people. I can't stand that shit. I think when you're gonna put somebody in a jail cell for a number of days, you know what I'm saying, shit like that, you need to very well be sure of what the situation is. Like, you know what I'm saying, like, except for in cases of murder and rape and all of that, but for a bad check, like, you put a nigga in jail for 6 days over a bad check. And he didn't even write a bad check, y'all. He said that it was something wrong with his account, something wrong with the account in some type of way. I'm still confused on how something was wrong with the account, but there wasn't really a transaction at all. So he was trying to get Chico DeBarge to play at Bar 1. But with whatever was going on with the manager or whoever the promoter was, whoever the guy he was working with, the situation wasn't looking right. Peter didn't feel right about it, so he didn't want to deal with it. They wanted like a certain amount of money up front. I think it was, they wanted the $4,000 up front or some shit like that. Or was it, excuse me y'all, was it $1,200? It was some other amount of money. But Peter was like, you know, I'm not sending that because we're not going to do this. But what I don't understand is, if y'all said y'all wasn't going to do it, why did you still have to pay him money enough for your account to have had issues? Like, I don't know what's going on there. I feel like Peter is lying about that. I feel like he definitely agreed to have Chico DeBarge come in and perform, but then didn't pay it all, or the situation with the bank, whatever the situation is, something ain't right about his explanation of it. But ultimately, in order to get out of jail, he ended up paying the $4,000. And that's another thing. Like, if y'all didn't have no business dealings, why did you have to end up paying him the $4,000? He said he did get in contact with the district attorney, but she never got back to him. And he didn't know that there was a warrant for his arrest. So they arrested him, what that was, like last Saturday or something like that, at the airport. I can't remember what day it was, but I remember it was in Miami at the airport, and he stayed in jail for 6 days. He has since then been, you know, giving messages and shit like that, had a whole church suit on to tell us his side of the story. But look, you know, this is not a big deal. This is not a big deal. It's not, you know, checks plural. So I don't know why, you know, they put it, everybody's, you know, putting that line that is plural checks when it was just this one situation. But I do know that Peter has learned from this situation, and everything will be on the up and up from now on, because that old nigga do not want to go back to jail for 6 days. He did say that he was treated well by the guards. He, you know, it wasn't no issue like that. People was looking out for him, bringing in fruit and shit, because all they was feeding him was bread and water. But y'all, that's some terrible shit to have to go through for a nigga to get $400, because Chico DeBarge is gonna get the full stack, you know, was supposed to get the full stacks, and his manager or whoever only gets 10%. So he was only gonna get $400. You put somebody in jail for 6 days over $400, my nigga, like that's... But you know, Peter, you should handle your business better, because it's obvious that you were at fault in some way, because you still had to pay that money, okay? So yeah, y'all, that's what was going down with Peter. Then Vincent Herbert, same situation, writing bad checks, not paying rent. Apparently, even though he's having all these financial issues, allegedly, he decided to lease a $37,000 condo, 3 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 3,400 square feet. For what? For who? For what? You single now, my nigga. You and your son don't need 3 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. But you know what? Whatever, okay? He was supposed to pay $37,000 a month. Why, son? Like, that just seems extravagant and over the top. Considering the fact that y'all have had so many financial woes and people saying that y'all don't pay them and all of that. I just think that's ridiculous. Well, he paid for January but didn't pay for February. And it says that he also wrote 2 checks for a total of $10,000 to a lady named Dakota Sal. And those checks didn't go through either. So this is actual checks, plural, in this situation. But I don't know what's going on with people. But if you know you ain't got the fucking money, please stop trying to live like the you know, lifestyles of rich and famous. Vince, you know, you still going through that divorce. You and Tamar gotta get y'all finances all untangled. I thought you was more responsible than this. Like, to find out that they just really being stupid with their money is like, really, my nigga? I thought y'all knew better. I thought y'all knew better. Then I seen that Tamar got read to dust by one of the Pace sisters. Okay, so apparently she made a negative comment. I didn't see the comment because I think she deleted the comment once I got to Miss Tina Knowles' Instagram page. But she posted one of the Pace sisters singing, and you know, nasty church vocals. I was just like, yes, it was more than inspiration. But Tamar worrying about the lady wig, okay? Now let me tell you something. The lady wig was better than what church ladies was wearing 10, 15 years ago. I don't know why she felt the need to comment on that lady wig, especially when we didn't see her have wigs of straw time and time again, looking like a fucking Muppet baby. But you know what, Tamar? you was waiting on somebody to read you to dust. And the other Pace sister got online and told her how evil she was and how all she could do is respond with evil, because that's all she is. But she knows she need to work on who she is. And I mean, read her for filth. I was like, bitch, you gonna check yourself the next time you come after a Pace sister, ain't you? Okay, y'all, I was like, why would she even comment some negativity? And I'm sure it wasn't even that big of a deal, but it's just not something that you needed to say, so why say it? You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch always be in ribbon mode, can dish it but can't take it. That's what I don't understand about Tamar. Tamar want real people and talk shit, but as soon as somebody clap back at her dumb ass, then all of a sudden her feelings hurt and you did this to me. That's what I let yo. Girl. Tony, get your sister. Tawanda, get your sister. Trina, get your sister. Alright, I will call Tracy, but I don't think Tracy will come and get you, bitch. Will Smith supposedly has signed on to play Venus and Serena's dad, and everybody is in an uproar about it because they feel like there are other black actors who can play that role and look more like the father. Look, I'm not about to get upset about this at this point. We all know that the reason why they're getting Will Smith to do it is because Will Smith is a big draw. I feel like Idris Elba is a big draw too. So, and he looks more like the daddy. So I don't know why they didn't pick him. But I ain't about to argue with nobody about the shit, okay? At the end of the day, Will might be light her, but he ain't light bright. So it'll do. Okay? And we've seen Chadwick Boseman play at least 4 or 5 shades of black people over the past 10 years. So it is what it is. I ain't about to be mad about it. But I am interested in seeing a movie. And I guess because of him signing on to do that movie, he's not going to do Suicide Squad 2. So Idris Elba is taking his spot on Suicide Squad. And I'm going to go see both of them motherfuckers. Okay? Thank you very much. And I can't wait to see this new season of Luther that they didn't put out. But I'm waiting for them to put it out over here on Amazon or something so I can buy the shit. I love me some Luther. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Luther, which is like a crime TV series that came out in, you know, with the BBC and all of that, that Idris Elba was a star of. But it's so good. I want to send a special shout out to all of the beautiful women internationally because it is International Women's Day and we about to take over this thing, you dig what I mean? And I just kind of feel like I want to pat myself on the back as a woman because in the past couple of years I have done a lot for myself. Like just in my life period, I have gone through some things from, you know, Katrina to my dad dying and, you know, miscellaneous relationships all the fine. I love of my life. Buy a house at 27, you know, get engaged at 27, got married by 29. Like, like I just, you know, and to some people that may not seem like anything to be proud of, but bitch, I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't renting from nobody. My dogs is clear and free to be running amok on my property, okay? And then I quit a job that was stressing me the fuck out. After I had so much pride in that job, I learned what I needed to get from it. I got what I needed to get from them white folks, and I got the fuck. And now I am able to live a somewhat normal lifestyle. It's still a struggle sometimes, but I get to live my dream and shit at the end of the day. I get to get up here and entertain y'all, whether y'all agree with me or not, whether I lose some of y'all, you know, along the way and then gain more of y'all back. Whatever the situation is, it is a blessing. I feel blessed. I feel like I'm a great example of an international woman because y'all know me in other places, okay? And you know, yeah, shout out to me. But also shout out to Stephanie Flowers, the senator from Arkansas that tore it down in the committee meeting and had them vote against another NRA bill for stand your ground, okay? Told them I'm worried about my black children. Okay, she got in their ass. The clip is all over Twitter. Y'all follow me on Twitter. I'm back on Twitter. But anyway, yeah, special shout out to Senator Stephanie Flowers for being so righteous. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love all my women. Mwah. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you for watching. And I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm about to go watch Captain Marvel.